Good evening, friends. Back in front of you after a very long time, almost 15 days, if my memory serves me right. And the reason was very obvious because Mohit was in front of you because we have launched our or relaunched our Infinity service, and my role was not there, so that's why I was not in front of you. So, Q&A with Sunil Damania, that's the topic of this webinar, and I'm going to take up a lot of questions that you may have because you must have really piled up a lot of questions because I was not in front of you. If you recollect, someone had asked me about the performance of the stock of the week, and I had promised that I'll present the report card of stock of the week in terms of how many companies have outperformed, how many companies are in profit, how many companies we have closed, and so on and so forth. I'm going to cover that also in my presentation. Second thing, someone asked me about the LPG demand, and if that is so, what is the scenario for the auto LPG? So I have also tried to cover that point. My request to all of you, whenever you need some data points, when you need some clarity, please feel free to write to us, and we will see that we try to cover those topics. If not possible immediately, if you don't have the data immediately, we'll definitely try to cover in our subsequent webinars. So before I begin my webinar, just a disclaimer that this webinar is just to enhance your understanding about the equity market. Please consult your financial advisor before buying or selling any stock. Investment in securities market are subject to market risk, and past performance is no indicator of future returns. So let me start with something which is the most hot topic about the defense. The reason why defense is back in demand because we all know what happened in Pahalgam, and then the rest is history. So the question comes, how much really more? And this question keep coming in. So today I'm going to preempt some of your questions, and I put it a part of my presentation. So what I did actually, how these different companies have moved up from the low that they touch in 2025, that is in first 5 months of 2025, not 52-week low. Don't get confused with 52-week low. This is actual returns being made from the low that they've been made in 2025. And if you look at some of the companies like Garden Rich, 144%, Bharat Dynamics 111%, Data Patterns 111%, Zen 113%, Paras Defense 99%, Asta. You see all green sign. Now you may wonder how I selected this company. This is nothing but the defense index which NSE had made it, and these are all the companies a part of that defense index. I have put it actually. The lowest return from the low has been 27. So in nutshell, if you had taken even blindly any defense company, you would have made a huge amount of money in the defense stocks in 2025. Of course, not many would have bought. Even I have not bought it. Of course, we do have in our PMS, the topmost holding is a defense company only, and we have been buying in last few weeks in one of the another defense related company. But that's not the point. The point is that defense companies have done extremely well after touching a low in 2025. And one big reason is that who knew that Pahalgam incidents would take place? And then who knew that government will increase the allocation to the defense, and they will, and the demand not only from India but even the export opportunity could increase. Now, since these companies have done extremely well from the low of 2025, the question arises, where do we stand? Where do they stand in terms of the valuations? Because as an investor, you always want to look at the opportunity available. Is this the opportunity available at this point of time? Or you need to search for another opportunity which could be as good as defense that happened in the first 5 months of 2025. So what we have done actually, we look at the present trailing 12 months price to earning compared with the 5-year historical P or the maximum period available, whatever is the period available, and then try to look at it what they've been commanding historically versus the price to earning. I must clarify here, these are not a recommendation to buy or sell any of these companies. My job is to present data in front of you, and then you are smart people to deduce. Now, someone could argue, is this the price to earning is a right metrics to evaluate the company? The answer is no. Idea is just to give an idea to see where do they stand in terms of the valuation, which is valuation matrix of price to earning. You should not never ever decide on company to get in or get out of the company purely based on the one parameter. But this is just to give you the idea. For example, Garden Rich 62.4 versus the historical average of 23.1. In other words, it's commanding 170% premium as compared to what it has been commanding historically. Something very similar with Bharat Dynamics. The 128p, 28.8, 345% premium. Data patterns almost very similar to what it has been commanding, while the company like Zen Technology, which was commanding 81, is actually down to 63, and so on and so forth. These are data which has been given for the company wise. And of course, these companies are basically part of NSE defense indices. So someone can argue, why have I not covered one company, or why I have covered this company, so on and so forth. So I'm basically putting to rest this one. Company like Cyient or company like Dynamatic Technology, they're basically commanding lower than what they've been commanding. Now the valuations are very, very rich. In other words, one has to really be very, very careful. I know we all love the sector or the company that is doing well, and we all victims of recency bias. जो चला, we make an assumption वो चलेगा, और जो नहीं चला, we make an assumption वो नहीं चलेगा. Not necessarily. The situation can change, but I think the way it has run up, especially in the month of April and May, I think it does call for a more scrutiny. I'm not saying you don't have to invest in it, but you need to have more scrutiny. Having said that, we are buying some of the defense company in our PMS also as I speak to you. So only thing what I'm saying is that you need a scrutiny more diligently in terms of when you get into the company. Why I'm saying so? Because they've done extremely well in last couple of months. Monsoon, and those who live in Bombay and especially in South Bombay would have seen what happened day before yesterday on Monday. I think it is an unprecedented monsoon happened in the month of May. I can't recollect, whatever my memory serves me, that I have seen this kind of a rainfall in the month of May. May extremely hit. Even the first week of June, normally you don't see this kind of a rainfall. But on Monday, the kind of rainfall, and I stay in South Bombay, so I can realize this. We did not see that kind of a rainfall in the western part of the Bombay. Like when I say western, in the sense Western Railway, kind of Kandivali, Borivali, and so on and so forth. But monsoon in the South Bombay was extremely very, very heavy. And one of the metro railway station, which is newly constructed, came under a lot of criticism on the social media because the water gushed into that metro station. And now, what has happened? The monsoon has arrived a little early. And due to that, there is a prediction now that June would be good. Not only June would be good, but overall monsoon, which was 106% as per the IMD, has been revised to 108 by the I think not 108, I think 106 for the complete season. And of course, SkyMet has basically said that June would be 96%, while the IMD said 108 for the month of June. So June should also receive a good monsoon. Now it's a good thing. Why? Because the monsoon has come. India is more, people are dependent on agriculture, and if the monsoon is good, the reservoir, water reservoir will be good. The kharif production would be good. If kharif production is good, fertilizer companies should do well, pesticide companies should do well. If the production is good, it will put more money into the hands of the rural consumer, and so on and so forth. These are all the good things, and of course that will also help the food inflation to come down. So that's the positive side of the market. But the negative side is that when the early rainfall comes, it does impact the calculation of the farmers. Some of the standing crops like tomatoes and onion and garlic, I've been informed also the price have gone up. So those who are basically go for buying vegetables, they would be started feeling the pinch of the higher vegetable price, because a lot of vegetables got damaged in the process, so that could happen. Now that's not the only thing. Another thing which could have an impact is that a lot of people are expecting the heat wave would be very severe in the month of May. And we have seen monsoon in Bangalore, we have seen monsoon coming early shower in Delhi and so on and so forth. Because of that, the demand for some of the FMEG goods like fast mover electronic goods, that will get dampened. Why? Like demand for air conditioner, demand for fan, demand for refrigerator, demand for air cooler, water cooler, even the company like those who basically produce cold drinks, they could also see the lower demand as compared to what it was there last year. So when you see the numbers coming out, one common thing that you will find in the commentary, and of course some of the FMCG products which basically sell products based on the heat, they would also see some amount of demand softening happening, and that will come out in the June quarter numbers in the con call. At the same time, normally the demand for the power goes up. Why? Because more people need to use electricity, fan, refrigerator, and so on and so forth. Because when the heat is there, more demand for that. Am I right? That demand will remain a little subdued. In fact, I've been informed that on one of the exchange, the spot price of power was zero actually. Okay, so that's what has happened. So I think these are the challenges that we will see. So while the monsoon is good, the downside is that these are the companies which will take the brunt of that. March result season is still on. We are very fag end of March result. Let's try to understand what it is suggesting, and tomorrow I'll go more granular with our PMS customers on this one. If you look at it, the Y-on-Y growth has been 4.3. I'm not looking at quarter on quarter for the very simple reason. Again, March quarter is the best quarter for India Inc. and hence looking at quarter on quarter is little futile. It will always be good. Okay, 94% of the companies have declared the numbers, and hence these numbers are likely to now change significantly going forward. Based on the numbers and based on the valuation, we are at 441 lakh crore market cap as of today. India GDP for FY 2026, assuming that the numbers holds true, because as you know that numbers of GDP are being revised downward by a lot of agencies including RBI, and reason is very simple, because of a lot of uncertainty. But I assume that holds true of 357 lakh crore, we are at 124 market cap to GDP. And if you look at the trailing 12 months net profit, we are at 26.2 times as of today. So, and of course this is trailing 12 months based on the 94% company we have taken March numbers, and balance 6% of the company we have taken for December 2024 numbers, because that numbers have still not been announced. So we are trading at 26 times overall. But when you divide that into, that slide is, I think I removed it, the Nifty 100 and so on and so forth, I think it's good, this one. Anyway, is it how? Okay, sorry, it's here. So BSE 100 is 23.4 times, BSE small cap, it's an index, okay, of 32 times, and BSE mid cap at 36.5 times. So in fact, the today valuation of small caps are lower than the valuation of mid cap. That's what has happened. But BSE 100 is 23.4 times. So in overall market, while the market is 26 times, the large cap are trading at much better valuations compared to the mid and small cap. And as you all know, that results of mid and small cap are not as robust as has been to the large cap. And in one of my presentation which I made to a previous customer, I showcased how large cap perform, how mid cap perform, and how small cap perform for March quarter. But if you look at it, despite this, the small cap did extremely well. In fact, if you look at from low of 2025, the small cap index has bounced back to 22%. It has come as a positive. In fact, I was also not expecting, to be honest with you, but that's what has happened. Mid cap is up by 17% from the low. It achieved in 2025 low. I'm not talking about 52 week, but look at realty index. What does this clearly indicates? I think the market has gone on to risk on mode. So market first couple of months was in a risk-off strategy. We saw Bitcoins taking a beating, we saw small cap taking a beating, we saw realty index taking a beating. But now market seems to be started taking on the risk-on strategy, and due to that, I think some of this. But if you look at some of the companies which are still not bounced back as much as from the low, is Nifty Pharma only up by 7.86% and Nifty FMCG up by 10.14. While okay, the large cap has not fallen so much, and that's why you see they're up by about 11 to 12% from the low. So even they have double-digit bounce back. So normally most of the indices have bounced back at least in double-digit, almost all except pharma from the 52-week low. That gives a clear-cut idea that overall sentiment in the market is turned really positive for the Indian market. Now, Anjali had asked me on 18th May, 17th May, 14th May. Anjali had asked me a question that is then today's 20th May almost. Can you please tell us what is the average return for all stock of the week recognition for YTD, and it has generated alpha for the subscribers? That was her question that she had put it. I put it verbatim. I have not done any grammatical change in this. So as I promised you, you ask questions and I'll try to respond to that. So till now, 44 calls have been given by us on a stock of the week. 44. Out of which 34 calls are still open. In other words, 10 calls we have closed, and I've been informed that one more call has been closed today. So what happens to the open call? And then I'll come to the close call. Out of 34, 17 are outperformed. So today, 50% of the call which are open have outperformed the benchmark, that is BSE 500. And at the same way, 50%, that is 17, have underperformed the benchmark. Am I right? Now let's look at how many are in profit and how many are in losses, because the company may have outperformed and still in a losses, and vice versa. Company may be in profit, but it's underperformed. So out of 34, 11 are in profit and 23 are in losses. So when it comes to the companies in profit, the ratio doesn't look very promising. But when you look at outperformance and underperformance, it's a 50-50. Now this number looks a little bad for the open calls. But when you look at the close call, so today is 10. If I have to make presentation tomorrow, it would be 11. Why? Because one call, because this data as of 27 May. Today, my team told me that they are closing one more call. Why? Because the target has been achieved. Out of 10 call, 9 have outperformed the benchmark. Only one underperformed. And when I look at the profit out of 10 call which has been closed, 9 have been closed with profit and 1 has been closed in a loss. So what does this tell you? Let me make a summary of this. Out of 44 calls, 60% of the call have outperformed the benchmark. That's 60% includes the call which are open and the call which are closed. That is this one, 17 plus 9. 17 plus 9. Am I right? So 59% of the calls have outperformed the benchmark. Now it doesn't look very bad, am I right? Of course, some of the companies which are underperformed significantly. I must tell you that also. Out of 44 calls, 20 calls are profitable. In other words, only 45%. That means more calls as we speak are in losses as compared to the profit. Okay. The call that has been closed, okay, average return has been 18% on those. 1.8. Okay. And out of 10 closed call, 9 have been profitable, not only profitable, but even beating the benchmark. So this is a summary card of stock of the week. Anjali ji, I hope if you are in this webinar, I hope that clears your doubt about what has been the performance of stock of the week. Yeah, it's not so exceptionally good, I must admit that, but it's not neither bad either. If 59% of our calls are outperforming, that's a 60%, it's fairly reasonable number. I'm not saying it's outstanding numbers, it's quite fair. So the perception that you people have been created that is done extremely bad the data doesn't look like, doesn't tell me that. Am I right? Alkis asked me the question, LPG consumption growth is over 2.5% CAGR for India. Do you see this an exciting business opportunity for auto LPG and industrial LPG segment? So what we have done, we have taken data from the government sources. And these are the data. So what we have done, we have compared FY 2024 and FY 2025. Of course, the data is available 22 and this one, but I did not wanted to see that. If you look at the LPG, this is domestic, जो हम लोग के घर पे जो गैस LPG का जो क्या बोलते हैं गैस सिलेंडर आता है, that is shown 5. That's the biggest market. So out of 29,000 metric ton of 29,649, 26,207 is accounted by the domestic. Okay, and then LPG non-domestic, which is a people use it in various places. This is this one. LPG bulk is this one. Now, if you look at it, the most of the growth is driven by only by the domestic because of government initiatives to Har Ghar Chula, something that's a not the Har Ghar Chula. There is some other word that they've used it, and for that. So, but if you look at the auto LPG, which I think you had asked me, it's declining. I must tell you that 88,000 metric ton. In FY 2025, it was 72.9. In other words, LPG, auto LPG is not something very growing. In fact, it has been declining for many years, 17.2. When I look at for April 2025 versus April 2024, it further came down by 7.6%. So auto LPG, I think, is no longer a focus area for anyone. I can't recollect someone in the recent past coming out with even the hybrid model with the LPG as a product. It's all more of a CNG rather than the LPG. Now, since again I'm preempting because someone would ask me a question, if that's the scenario with LPG, what is happening with the EV? So what I've done, I've generally taken data for April 2025. The penetration of EV in the electrical three-wheeler is very, very high. 63% of the three-wheelers are being sold are electrical vehicle. But if you look at the two-wheeler, from March 2025 to April 2000, it's 5.44. So when you compare April to April, it's gone up, but it's still a single digit. And if you look at the passenger vehicle, again, it's a single digit, 3.5. So somewhere the three-wheeler is higher than EV two-wheeler, then passenger vehicle, and commercial vehicle is this one. I think we have to still go a long way in terms of EV penetration in India. So while it looks very, very exciting, in a few years back, everyone was asking about EV. It's not happening. If you remember, the leader in EV is not going to be the leader. I don't know how many people can recollect or remember that statement of mine. Ola was the leader in two-wheeler in electrical vehicle. They are not. And if you look at the data which has been published, I think in one of the, I don't know which paper I read today, number 1 is TVS now, number 2 is Bajaj, and number 3 is Ola. So completely, and rest assured, the leadership will keep changing. In technology-driven industry, the leader of today may not be the leader of tomorrow. And I've said many times in the past, and I say again, the EVs are not a function of your hardware. The EVs are a function of your software. What kind of features you put into is like a mobile phone. Okay, it's a feature driven. So more features you put, more demand is going to get generated. Very quickly, the last 5 trading days have been mixed for the market. So normally, when you look at the data in a very just different manner, it's only the small cap which is up by 1.8, and then most of the indices are either positive in less than 1% or in negative in a zone. Actually, it's not been a very great week for the market, despite there has been a Trump yesterday made a statement that they are postponing the EU tariff and so on and so forth. But the market has been little more and more range bound in last 1 week, last 5 trading days. Year to date, IT, realty, pharma, and the mid and small cap are in red actually, and the finance and bank nifty are in green. only one index is in double digit positive is Nifty Finance. Of course, I have not put Nifty Defense, but that would have also done extremely well. But we don't capture that in our website, so that's why it's not there. With this, let's open the floor for question answer. I've just basically rushed through the presentation because I wanted to have more time for our Q&A answer. Yeah. Uh, Anbaz Zahan Rajaram. Sorry if I pronounced your name. Hi, Sunil. Market is evolving so much in several aspects so that even a novice like me is able to invest myself with some confidence. Thank you. Regarding mutual funds, if the original site is synced with the Mojo MF site just for viewing purpose, it will be nice to look at the full assets value as one number on the original MarketsMojo site. Is it possible, please? Okay, you are saying even MarketsMojo and Mojo MF can be made as a one site. I don't know, sir. Maybe it could be a compliance related issue. That's why they may not be doing it. But nonetheless, just put this question to forward to Jason. I'll request my product team to look into this. If it's possible, we'll definitely do it, sir. Thanks for your suggestion. हाँ जा जेसन को बोलना देखने के लिए. Vijay, what is your view on the metals and real estate sector for the current year? So, sir, I'm little not so bullish on real estate. I'm not so bullish on metals for the very simple. I don't know how China is going to play out, and if the world economy is going to remain slow down, that's what the IMF data says for the month of April. Not for the month of April. They've come out with the report in the month of April, which they've downgraded or reduced the growth rate for the world economy. I think the metal is a function of growth in the economy. And if the economy slow down, very difficult to expect metals to do well. And of course, there is a still overhang of tariff. We don't know what's going to happen, so on and so forth. So I would be a little cautious. Will I be so excited? Answer is no. Real estate, again, my personal opinion, so whatever I talk to the people, I do get an impression that the market is divided into two parts, actually. And I was yesterday listening to one of the con call of housing finance company. They have been saying that demand is more strong, not in the metro, but tier 2 and tier 3 cities kind of a stuff. So maybe that could be the thing. So how many players within the listed space are in tier 2, tier 3 city? We don't know actually. So looks little difficult as we speak. So real estate, would I put my allocation? Answer is no. Do I want to increase my allocation to metals? The answer is no. Kiran Sai is saying how best to invest in copper, purely in copper as it is in high demand. So it's a news to me, sir, that copper is in high demand. How to best to invest in copper? Buy copper future if that is what you are basically believe in. I don't think you have any pure play copper company in India where you can take a bet on it. So maybe you can buy copper in future and maybe you can play if you think the copper is going to do well. But I don't know whether the copper price have gone up so much. I'm not very aware. I'm not so sure about it. Since you asked me, let me just what we call. I'm just checking it, sir. So if you look at year to date, I think copper has been almost at the same level. You know, it moved up, it moved down, and again it moved up. But it's not something. For the year, it's down by 2.64%. In 1 month, it's down by 3.06%. I don't know, sir. If you are saying it's a high demand, of course it did go very low. Somewhere in 8th April or so, it has moved up. I'm talking about the international market, but doesn't look very exciting as we speak. And if I'm wrong, sir, please correct me, Kiran bhai. RB Sunil bhai, namaskar. Several times you have requested for PMS webinars so as to understand not only the performance but also the other nitty-gritties that I'm sure will be of interest to many. But as much as I'm aware, this has not been conducted as yet, despite confirming that it is on the anvil. do request you to look into this as would help those sitting on the fence to take a call if this is the right time to sign up for the PMS. Thank you in entry. Sure, sir. My apologies, sir. I don't think you had requested, and I have not, listened to your request. Has this question was raised before also, Amir? I'm not able to recollect, sir. Huh? Acha, even he is not aware, sir. So maybe we must have missed your question, sir. I'll definitely do that. So maybe if everyone just can put their, request in the this one. How many people are interested in PMS, and we'll be more than happy to do a webinar with all of you, sir. Definitely, it goes without saying. What we can do a kind of a webinar with the interest, those who are interested on a Zoom, so that you can directly ask me a question instead of coming through the you can switch on your video and I can switch on my video, and we can discuss on a one-to-one basis. We can do that also. But thanks a lot, sir. RB sir, we will definitely. So just देखो हमें कितने लोग ने बोला है कि they are also interested. We will do that. Saji Verghese, how do you infer in the defense sector is pick and there is no more upward traction? How much is typical percentage allocation for the defense sector? Was there a change in the weightage compared to the previous quarter? Sir, I think you are asking me for the PMS. Yes, there has been a change in the weightage. And one reason for the change in weightage is also because the share price hike rise that has happened in that defense company, which was now our topmost holding. And we have started buying, as I told you, in last few days, a couple of weeks, another defense company that's also increased the allocation. So how do you infer if the defense sector is picked or there is no more upward traction? So there are a couple of things that you should look at it. What is the product profile? What is the order book position? What is the annual turnover? What is the kind of order book? What is the visibility of that happening in next couple of years? And so on and so forth. So you have to apply certain rules there to really understand what kind of, and again, the value accretive or not, the business order book that they have, will that be a value accretive? See, one biggest concern that defense companies also have is a single customer. Most of the defense products have been consumed by Government of India. So for some reason, if government decides to slow down, okay, then you do run into a problem. So you need to look at the product profile, how critical those products are, what is the demand in elasticity and so on and so forth. And that's how it's going to happen that. Nirmal sir is saying, good evening, sir. As Japan borrowing is to 35 on GDP, which deteriorates economy, and now US tariff also made it new hit to economy, which needs to sell of US Treasury bond and JP are getting stronger against US result carry get unwounding. How would it affect stock market? So Nirmal sir, I think it's a very, very interesting and very intelligent question that you ask. So if you ask me one pocket that could create a trouble, is not the US but the Japanese. If you look at the yield on the Japanese bond has gone up significantly, and that could create some kind of a problem. So I don't know whether that's when that happens and how it happens, how they manage and so on and so forth. So I think that's another area of worry that we need to have it. Now, these are all the probability which may or may not happen also. It's not that it will happen only. But we need to be very, very careful of what's happening in Japan. The way everyone is glued to what's happening in the US and the China, be equally vigilant of what's happening in the Japanese economy. And for some reason, if that happens, I think if something goes wrong, it could create. So, I was reading one article that one of the biggest creditor. So, while Japan borrowing is 235 GDP, in fact, remember, is one of the biggest creditor to the world, Japan, because Japan has been investing outside Japan very bigly, Japanese investors. So I think now the number one is Germany and number two is Japan. So you just Google search and you'll come to know. So my worry is not because of Japan borrowing is 235% of GDP. My worry is that what's happening in the Japanese bond market that could, and inflation that could disturb the what we call the apple cart for the many investors across the world. So that's a one, and there is clearly risk-on strategy, which is also a little concern for the global market. The way bitcoins are going up, the way I'm talking about, real estate in India started moving up, and so on and so forth. So that's the thing. But yes, be careful of what's happening in Japan. What if you want? Maybe I can do another webinar, or maybe I could put more data points or what's happening in the health of Japanese economy. मुझे एक forward कर देना. I'll try to cover that in my next webinar. Sagar sir, how do you see the market now in India in performance till date, and do you feel India in June quarter result will be muted or improve, and if muted is already priced, or you expect softness in the market in coming months? If need to invest in current market in existing model portfolio, please suggest to go lump sum or 3/4 and thank you for your continuous guidance. So Sagar sir, I'm doing some data analysis with our PMS customer, and I believe you are not our PMS customer. I don't want to preempt, this, like in the sense, take away the excitement of our PMS customer for attending tomorrow's webinar. I don't want to reveal my numbers, what we expect for June quarter, what do we see, and so on and so forth. As far as model portfolio is concerned, see, if you have a money, please go ahead and invest. But if you are a little not comfortable and you want to have a peaceful sleep in the night, go in one or two tranches. Maybe you can invest now. So I'll give you a very simple example. One of our big investor in PMS, when I say big in the sense, the quantum of money that has been put, okay? And the couple basically asked me a question, both husband and wife, should they invest? And I had this one-to-one review with them. And I said, please put in the first week of June. So my advice would be, maybe sir, you can put first week of June additional money in the model portfolio. That's what I would request you. But if you want, provided I believe that you are a long-term investor, but you are a little short-term investor, market really does impact you, then invest 3, 4, 5 tranches, whatever gives you comfort level. See, I'm talking about an investor who is more mature, not worried about the little downside, because everyone wants to catch the bottom. In real life, it is not practically possible. So when you come to the market, be mentally ready that yes, you are willing to see the downside. If you are willing to do the downside, please put in first week of June. If you are not so, please avoid and put 3, 4 or 5 tranches, whatever gives you comfort level. Okay, sir. Thanks, Sunil, for response to LPG question with data. I see bulk LPG is growing, and that is for industry. Also, LPG oil consumption has grown by 5.5 FI. That is good. Yes, sir. But see, LKG, this is mainly driven by this household consumption. It's nothing to do with the, auto LPG or something, basically. And I don't know, in the bulk LPG, who are the players? To be very honest, I'm not very sure of that. Who are the biggest beneficiary of that bulk LPG? So LPG is more of a story of a consumption at the household level rather than industrial level. That's what my understanding. In auto LPG, though, correct me, LKG, if I'm getting wrong somewhere. If any auto company coming out with a model which can also run on auto LPG, that is what I'm thinking, a hybrid product. I can't recollect. Someone basically launched an auto LPG in last few years or so. Susovan Ghorai sir. Hi, I'm a Susovan from village near Haldia and proud subscriber of MarketsMojo. I'm very happy, sir. I have a suggestion. Please redefine number of maximum stock is each tech study so that we can allocate separately money for it. Sir, I'm not very clear about your question. Which strategy you are talking about? So we have 3 model portfolio: aggressive, conservative, and moderate. And it has been predefined our model portfolio. So it has been clearly, we take care of that so that you don't exceed the number of stocks. The same way, if you are talking about the Infinity 5 portfolio, there also the number of stocks, as Mohit was explaining, is predefined. So we'll take care of that. If it is for personal portfolio, we advise never ever go more than 20 stocks, because it becomes extremely difficult for you to track those companies, sir. So that's what you should look at it. Model portfolio Infinity, we will take care of. You don't have to worry about. Personal portfolio, don't go more than, at stage maybe you could go to 25, but don't go beyond 25, sir. Duranga, is the stock portfolio stock for small and micro is going to happen soon? I think it's happening, sir. If you look at it, some of the sectors that have started doing well are not those one. The company that did well, if you look at the bunch of stocks within the small cap did well, are quite different than what they were in 2024. So that has been happening that. So I think but sir, rotation is the name of the game. It will keep happening every now and then. and hence, buy and hold strategy may not work out in many cases purely because of what is a darling for the investors today may become a someone else's darling for tomorrow. Someone else may become a darling. Okay, so this is it's more like a love story than the marriage kind of a stuff in the stock market. So my advice would be, sir, the rotation is the name of the game. Leaders of today may be laggards of tomorrow, and vice versa, and that's how we should look at it. Unless you are a very investor like Warren Buffett, then it's a different story. Unfortunately, people talk about Warren Buffett, they admire him, but they don't want to follow him. Reason is very simple. Warren Buffett is comfortable even if the company underperform for 2 years, 3 years and 5 years. यहाँ पे तो कंपनी 3 महीने में नहीं चलता है, यहाँ पे आप लोग हल्ला कर लेते हो. Am I right? So that's a kind of stuff. So hence sometimes, we want to follow the principle of Warren Buffett, but when it comes to following in a personal life, then नहीं अपना काम नहीं है, kind of a stuff. So that's what happens. Raju, after a huge price movement in defense company and they are very expensive, Mojo suggests few companies to invest in top 10. Is it right fundamental to enter 6 to 8 months as to miss the trend in defense? Of course, yes. When you look at some of the companies which have been recommended, as I told you, we are also buying one of the companies in our PMS, the topmost holding. Of course, that we are not buying that company which is the topmost holding, but we are not selling either. So we believe that there is a further upside on that company. And the one call which has been closed stock of the week, it's also from defense, which has been closed today. So you have to be company specific, sir. Number one. Number two, whatever we are recommending, please go ahead and buy. Do not hesitate in terms of, because that has been cleared by our investment committee as far as model portfolio is concerned. As far as the infinite strategies are concerned, it's completely IP driven, and based on our IP, those companies have come. So please go ahead and buy if we recommend it by us. Ashwin sir is saying, will it be possible to download odd portfolio as well as reports in Excel format? I don't know, sir, which portfolio you are talking about. It's very difficult for me to, as well as report, which reports you are talking about in Excel form. Sir, if you can elaborate further, it will really help me to understand. I think model portfolio is possible. That's what my understanding is, right? But these are more product-related questions. My request would be, please ask Jason. He is the right person to ask. I would be more happy to answer questions more pertaining to the sector outlook, macros, and so on and so forth. Product-related, I have a very limited understanding. But nonetheless, मुझे भिजवा देना, and you please clarify which strategy you are talking about, because now we have various products available. I don't know which product. I would request everyone, when you put portfolio, please clarify whether you are referring to infinity portfolio or model portfolio. Mobasir Farman, sir, is IT sector का व्यू क्या है 1-3 ईयर में? सर, IT looks little challenging, और मैं आपको हिंदी में जवाब देता हूँ बिकॉज आपका सवाल थोड़ा हिंदी में है, तो थोड़ा सेक्टर हमें लगता है थोड़ा डिफ़िकल्ट है. इसलिए नहीं कि उसमें ग्रोथ, इसलिए है कि थोड़े जो US में जो थोड़ी क्लैरिटी नहीं है कि क्या होने वाला है, क्या नहीं होने वाला है. अगर US में थोड़ा स्लो डाउन होता है तो जो IT का जो बजट्स होगा वो थोड़ा कर्टेल हो जाएगा, थोड़ा कम हो जाएगा, और वो कम हो जाएगा तो इंडियन जो IT कंपनीज उनका भी रेवेन्यू थोड़ा कम हो जाएगा. तो वो एक दिक्कत आ सकती है, नंबर वन. नंबर टू, IT सेक्टर को नॉर्मली उनके पास जो फंड फ्लो होता है बहुत अच्छा होता है, तो उन पर उनको जो ट्रेजरी इनकम होती है बहुत अच्छी होती है. अब रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट कम होने लगे तो उसके भी थोड़ी इम्पैक्ट होगी. एंड थर्ड थिंग, जो डॉलर और रुपये की जो बात चल रही थी, जो रुपये डेप्रिसिएट हो रहा था, कहीं ना कहीं वो रुपये डेप्रिसिएट कम हो गया है या बंद हो गया है. तो अगर आपको याद है तो करीबन हिंदुस्तान का जो रुपया है वो US के डॉलर के सामने ऑलमोस्ट सेम लेवल पे है जो 2025-2024 के एंड में था. तो वहीं पे भी जो रुपये डेप्रिसिएशन का भी जो बेनिफिट मिलता था वो भी शायद नहीं मिलेगा. तो हमारा व्यू ये है 1 से 3, तो 2025 में मुझे नहीं लगता कि IT सेक्टर कुछ बड़ा मुनाफा दे पाएगा, तो इसलिए थोड़ा दूर लेने की सलाह है. एंड अगेन वी विल कम इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू कि हमको लगता है कि भाई अभी आईटी सेक्टर में थोड़ा जो गिरावट थी वो थम गई और आगे चल चलेगी, तो आप कर सकते हो। पर अब तो अभी नहीं लगता है कि आपको कुछ एलोकेशन इंक्रीज करने की जरूरत है आईटी सेक्टर में। हेमंत, कोविड केसेस राइजिंग इन ए फ्यू स्टेट्स, यू वी इफ इट इज अफेक्ट द मार्केट? तो हेमंत सर, you are right absolutely, and it's a very good question. The COVID numbers are rising, and my request to all of you, please take precautions. I don't want anyone or in your family also to fall sick because of COVID. Now, is it going to impact the market sentiment? The answer is no. Maybe for 1 or 2 days it can impact, but don't expect major corrections, long-lasting correction because of COVID cases in the Indian equity market. I think our immune systems have gone up. A lot of people have taken vaccines and so on and so forth. And बोलते हैं ना, बॉडी खुद ने एक इम्यून सिस्टम, हर्ड इम्यूनिटी जो बोलते हैं, वो भी हम लोग ने कर लिया है. एंड इज नॉट गोइंग टू एज फैटल एज वॉट इट वॉज इन द फर्स्ट और सेकंड राउंड ऑफ कोविड. सो should you discount this factor to take position in the market? The answer is no. Please, COVID is not a market. It's not going to have any, even forget about long term, forget about medium, even I don't see any short term impact, negative impact on the market. If at all there is an impact, maybe 1 or 2 days, that's it. And that's it. So I don't think you should be lost. But so from stock market point of view, no impact. But I request everyone, don't take it lightly. Please take precautions. Please advise each and every your family members, near and dear one, to take precautions, so that I don't want anyone to suffer from COVID. Namdari sir, looks like valuations are almost back to September 2000 levels. Any revision in your views on investing in mid and small cap? So sir, I think I did articulate my thoughts, but I don't think it has come out very clearly. That's why this question from you. So mid and small cap companies have not done well for March 2025 quarter. But we have seen the run up purely because of risk on strategy. So थोड़ा difficult लग रहा है to justify the kind of valuation they are commanding. So my advice would be cautions, okay? Don't go little overboard. And if at all you used to take a exposure in mid and small cap, be wary of what you are getting into in the mid and small cap. Because I don't want you to get into the wrong time into mid and small cap. Sometimes your wrong entry point can frustrate you for many years to come in terms of the returns coming in. So advice would be your due diligence has to go up 3x now when you get into mid and small cap. Extremely careful. Otherwise, you can end up buying a wrong company. And unfortunately, you know, it's not only the company that you buy, it's also a function of what allocation you do to do that company. So that's also very critical. So my advice would be apply due diligence in terms of stock selection and also in terms of stock allocation. Madhusudan sir, is it possible to MarketsMojo to switch to NSE price in the portfolio instead of BSE, as NSEs are widely used? See, there's one reason why we use BSE prices, because we get feed of BSE on a live basis, while NSE is a little price delay, and that's the reason. But it's a good suggestion. I'll ask my technology team and my productive, is it feasible or not? Just मुझे भिजवा देना. Samaj sir, what is the future of banking says? Whether they are going to be outperform or underperform next 1 or 2 years? Sir, we are in our PMS, we are heavily exposed to banks and NBFCs. If you go back, Samaj sir, our view for 2025, the sector which will do well was banks and NBFCs, then FMCG and capital goods infra. And we continue to believe that that should happen. So my view is very positive. It should do well. I know some margin pressure would be seen because of 50 bips rate cut from RBI may not be able to get the benefit of that immediately, and so on and so forth. But overall, in terms of values and everything, looks extremely promising. That's the reason in our PMS we have the highest exposure we have in banks and NBFCs. So please go ahead, sir, and if you wish to increase the allocation, you can definitely do that. Uh, Samad sir, can we do the cost averaging if the concern is stock of the week, stock of the month, hidden treasures, etc. goes down by 10 to 20%? So I must tell you that I don't know much about hidden treasures and so on and so forth, so I will not be able to comment. But when I look at the stock of the week or stock of the month, when I look at the pedigree and the kind of quality they are, companies are, I think they are very good quality companies. So for some reason, and I tell you, please do that. If the clip is corrected, please do that averaging. That's nothing wrong with that. I'll give you a classical example. I don't know if this gentleman is attending this webinar or not. This gentleman visited our office last week. And he said, I got out of one stock of the week. I don't want to mention the name of the company, with a huge loss. Somewhere in the month of Jan and Feb. I can't recollect. He mentioned the month, but I'm not able to recollect now. And I asked him why. बोलता है नहीं वो नहीं चलने वाला था, मैंने बेच दिया उस कंपनी को. Well, if this is the way you are going to behave, you will never make money in the market. Because when sentiments are poor, you should be buying rather than selling, am I right? The same company, and that day I made him understand, is in green, he'll book a huge loss in that. Not only in the green, outperforming the benchmark. Even as on today, that company is in green and outperforming the benchmark. So sometimes, we get little emotional, we get little this one. But that's not the way. If you can't control your emotion, you will never make money. There's one beautiful article written by Dhirendra Kumar in Mint on last Friday. So last Friday, मैं आपको दिन भी दे देता हूँ. Last Friday was 23rd May. आप उसका एक article पढ़ना. And it's a very nice thing. It's not that this is new something he has said, but reinforces which known to us a little. Why is that the fund returns, that he talks about the mutual fund, never mimic in the investor's return? Do you understand? Fund पैसा बनाता है, investors पैसा नहीं बनाता है. Despite he was invested in that fund. You know why? Because he get out too early from that scheme. And that's where, and in fact, the same way, Indian market has made a lot of money. It has given compounded 15-16% return over a longer period of time. How many investors made money? तो इंडियन मार्केट पैसा बनाता है, इंडियन इन्वेस्टर्स पैसा नहीं बनाता है. Why is that? Because of our emotions and so on and so forth. So Samad sir, you have asked a very pertinent question, and please, stock of the week, stock of the month, they are very good quality companies. Please go ahead and buy if this clip has come down. And this is not what I'm saying now. In fact, someone had asked me this question in Jan or Feb also, and I requested that time also. Nanda Kumar, how long should we stay invested in a Mojo stock recommended? As long as the score does not go below 60, you should remain invested in the Mojo stock. If the same Mojo stock is also in your model portfolio, we'll come and tell you when to exit. But that's the benchmark, you should use it. And with another condition, the script should not be falling. The share price should not be falling. The script, so two conditions should satisfy. One, the score should not be below 60. And number two, the script should not be going down. If either of the condition happens, you can still remain. For example, the score is below 60, but script is moving up, don't get out of it. Then ride the upside. If the script is 60, but it's falling, please get out of that company. Hiren sir, please guide why the model price not generated good returns since last Diwali. Even it is still more than 10% downside. I doubt, sir, what you are saying is right actually. To the best of my understanding, when I talk to people, more people tell me that model portfolio is doing very well. And what you are saying is that since last Diwali it has not given returns. how many people are agreeing with what Hiren sir is saying? If you can help me with that, I think I'll get that more clarity. Is something wrong? I don't know which model portfolio you created, moderate, conservative, aggressive, but I doubt that since Diwali it would be down by 10%. I really doubt. If possible, sir, please share the details. My team will definitely look into that and will come back. But if other people, please, do you also have a very similar experience with model portfolio? प्लीज़ से सो एंड अमित जी वो सवाल ले लेना प्लीज़, मैं रिक्वेस्ट है आपको. आई नो 8 बज गए, आपको जल्दी होगी, लेकिन थोड़ा ले लेना उसको. पटेल सर, विच स्टॉक क्लोज फ्रॉम स्टॉक ऑफ द वीक? सर मुझे नहीं, आपको मिलेगा, आपके अपने स्टॉक ऑफ द वीक लिया हुआ है तो आपको प्रॉपर ईमेल आ जाएगा पटेल सर. I've been informed by my team, even I don't know which companies, but I've been informed it's a defense company which has been getting close. I don't take stock of the week or stock of because I run PMS. I don't look at this the MarketsMojo recommendation, so I don't have any idea. But I've been informed that that's what has happened, because when I told my team that I'm making a presentation on stock of the week, they updated me that one more company is getting close today, and hence your data is not captured. Well, yes, it's not captured because this data is as of yesterday. He said, then please mention that one more company is getting close, and you will get an email from us in next 1 or 2 hours. I don't know when they send across the email, but definitely before market opens tomorrow. Namdari sir saying, you suggest to exit a stock in one strategy and enter the same stock in another strategy category. I understand through the thought process and criteria is different in each strategy category, but sometimes this takes contradictory and confusing. I don't think anything can be done about this. As long as one is sticking to one strategy is perfectly fine, but I believe that's not true with majority of investors. So Namdari sir, can you give me one example of a company in one strategy we ask you to buy, in other strategy we ask you to exit? If you can give me with name, I think I'll be more this one. So technically this can happen, but I'm not able to recollect that has actually happened in the real life. In theory this is possible, but I don't think. If you can give me the name, Namdari sir, I'll be more than happy to address this. लिखा है किसी ने मॉडल पोर्टफोलियो के लिए आमिर? हाँ बताओ ना भाई, लिखो ना, लिखे हो ना. मधुसूदन सर, सर इवन माई पोर्टफोलियो इज नॉट परफॉर्मिंग. ओके सर का भी ईमेल आईडी ले लेना, मुझे बताना, मुझे भेज देना दोनों. ठीक है सर. एनीवन एल्स? ओके ठीक है. या Anup sir, your opinion on compounded return on Indian stocks over next 5-10 years? I believe that consistency will be more like 12 to rather than 15%. So okay, I'll put it this very simple way. So sometimes, when you wish to come to a conclusion, you don't have to do too much data analysis. Like apply the simple logic. India GDP, nominal GDP I'm talking about, would be about 10 to 11%. Assume that market cap to GDP ratio is very similar of what it is right now. India will grow at 10 to 11% kind of 10 to 12, 11% kind of a CAGR going forward. That's what the normal mota. For some reason, if India start growing nominal GDP 12, 13%, then we can also get the growth premium, and then that can take it to the 14, 15% kind of a CAGR. That's how it can happen. So it's all function of nominal. So my sense is that 10 to 11 is a bare minimum India is going to grow nominal GDP. Okay, that is real plus inflation, and that's what you should budget in your calculation for looking at the future growth that can happen. Now the challenge is that should you be happy with that or should you be looking for the alpha? And that's where I always keep telling that if you are happy with that, go for passive funds. But if you want to more return than the what market, then you need to always go for the active fund manager who is going to create alpha on the period or a longer term. Of course, that fund manager may underperform for a shorter period of time, and people do get frustrated. That's why I want everyone to read that Dhirendra Kumar article, which really clearly says that why investors' returns are much lesser than the fund returns. Kirti Kumar, what is the outlook on IT? Sir, I've anyway covered, sir. IT, we do believe little challenging. We don't believe IT could be outlier in 2025. When someone asked me, I हिंदी में उसको जवाब दिया था, पर बहुत विस्तार से दिया था वो जवाब. Yeah, move on. Prasthit Krishnan say, my portal gave me 57% return. See, now this is another contradictory view. Sir, can you help me with this? Because this gentleman, when he asked me the question, he said Diwali se nahi diya tha. So did you make a portfolio last Diwali and it's not given returns? If you can help me. But I can tell you with a lot of confidence because when my team tells me that our models are doing extremely well. So I was surprised when someone made a statement that has not made the money. But of course, having said that, I'll definitely look into both the portfolio, both the gentlemen who have claimed that, see where the things have gone wrong if they have not made the money. Done? सवाल है या okay, so as you all know that we don't cover stock specific. I don't talk about stock specific because of compliance. My compliance team strictly prohibited me to take up stock. Okay, but there are no other question there. That's what Amir is confirming to me. And anyway, it's a 8:05. Even time is up. So I would like to conclude this. Thanks a lot, everyone, taking time out and attend this webinar. Your people question always really excite me. So keep asking and keep probing us with more intelligent questions, and we are there to answer to best of our ability and capability. Tomorrow I'm in front of our PMS customer with some great data on that. Please do come and join me. And for others, I'll be in front of you, I think on Monday with Equity Outlook at 7 p.m. Good night. Take care.